Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really cut through the noise and give you the insights you actually need. Today, our mission is to dig into something potentially huge for predicting NFL success, specifically for tight ends, for fantasy football. We've got this fascinating study looking at whether a player's average depth of target, or ADOT, can actually forecast their pro performance.
Yeah, and ADOT is, well, it's a metric that gets really interesting when you're scouting or making those draft calls. It's pretty simple, really. Average depth of target just means how far downfield, on average, a guy was targeted in college. Was he running 5-yard outs, or was he 20 yards down the seam? It gives you a real glimpse into his potential role.
Okay, let's unpack the study itself then. How did they actually approach this? Because the details matter here. They looked at the top 50 fantasy tight ends, right, since 2017 using PPR scoring. And they specifically compared the top 10 guys against the ones finishing way down, like 41st to 50th. They call them the bottom 10.
Exactly. A really focused comparison to see what separates the truly elite from the rest in that group.
Right. So they've got this set up. What do the data start showing? Any immediate, standout patterns?
Almost right away, a clear trend popped out: higher ADOT. They were consistently showing up among those top 10 tight ends. Think about this. In 6 out of the 7 seasons they looked at, that's about 86% of the time? The top guys had higher average ADOTs than the average of the players ranked 31st to 50th. That alone is pretty suggestive.
Now, 85% consistency, that's really high. But what does that actually tell us about why they succeed in the NFL? What skills does it point to?
Well, that's kind of the aha moment, isn't it? A higher college ADOT often means that tight end isn't just a safety blanket. They're more versatile. It suggests they probably have the athleticism, maybe the route running chops, or that knack for contested catches to, consistently work downfield. And for fantasy, that's huge. Bigger plays, more yards, more points. It shows they were used in impactful ways, not just blocking or as a last resort checkdown.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. More dynamic players. Okay, they see this strong connection. Did they try to pin down a specific ADOT number, a threshold?
They did, and it wasn't just a first guess either. Initially, the data pointed towards maybe 7.0 or higher being linked to top performance, but they really dug in, refined the models, they wanted precision, and they eventually landed on a more specific threshold.
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At brainyballers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting abilities so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance, and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers' Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
7.6 and above.
7.6. That is incredibly specific. What difference did using that number make in their findings?
It provided a really measurable statistical edge. That's what's cool. Setting that ADOT bar at 7.6 or higher, it boosted the top 10 appearance rate by almost 19%, 18.9% to be exact, compared to those bottom 10 guys. That's a pretty powerful differentiator. It really points to where the value might be hidden.
Okay, so this feels like, a bit of a cheat code for fantasy managers scouting rookies. But surely it can't be just about this one number, 7.6, right? How did the study position this against other factors?
Right, and that's a really important point. This raises the question of context. Look, the study definitely confirms that college ADOT is a relevant, even powerful metric for fantasy scouting, no doubt. But it absolutely should enhance, not replace, your overall evaluation. It's one strong piece of data, not the whole puzzle. To kind of put it in perspective, they looked at the correlation. ADOT had a positive Pearson correlation of 0.189. That means there's a measurable positive link. And interestingly, they compared it to QB draft capital in their data set. That actually had a negative correlation, minus 0.219. So it really highlights that this ADOT finding for tight ends is statistically meaningful. It has real predictive weight, unlike some other common factors in this context.
Okay, so it's a strong signal, but not the only signal. So thinking about this, what does this mean for you listening right now? How might knowing about this optimal 7.6 ADOT range for tight ends change how you look at college prospects coming out? Or maybe it makes you wonder, what other new stats out there might have this kind of hidden predictive power? Really consider how adding this kind of specific insight could sharpen your own analysis, maybe give you that edge you're looking for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.